Are we live? It's slow on my end.
I'm not seeing it.
Oh, we are live. I see it.
We are? There we
Yes,
are.
we are.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Now we're live.
there we are.
Welcome to the TuracoCreativeCast. This is Frank Salazar. I am your host for today, aka Captain Goggles. Thank you for tuning into the Turaco, same Turaco time, same Turaco channel, where I forget our tagline. I think it's you can't spell art without Turaco or something. I don't know. We have our first guest of the year, Gary Hodges, returning tonight.
He's number one.
And
Number
he's
one,
the number
people.
one guest. Number one.
That's right.
He's the GOAT.
I hope Jim Lujan is watching. I want him to see. It was me. I was first.
You'll have a little badge and you'll stick it on your chest, and then you'll print out a certificate and stick it on your wall.
Who was the first one on the show this year? Me, Jim.
We'll make a certificate and send it to you.
Yeah, that's actually a good idea.
I'll put it up on my bookshelf behind me. I'll have it. Yeah.
All right. So, Anna, you want to tell us a little bit about you?
Okay, so Frank is our host. I'm your show's parasite. Wait. I do art stuff. You can find me on the internet. I don't know if the link tree is still working. Is it working?
Yours should be working. Yeah,
okay.
I think mine was working last time.
But yeah, this is going to confuse me for a minute because I switched the name of the Instagram that I use.
I have it right here.
He's so prepared. Dream Hatchling Studio. But if you look up my name, Anna Raub, pretty much whatever is art related will show up.
I'm going to see if I'm following.
Hypothetically.
You should be. Well, I don't know. I think you.
Oh yes,
you better be.
Yes,
Frank would tell that to anybody. Like, you should be.
Yeah.
Already followed.
If you're not, you should be. So okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. And there's Rihanna's YouTube channel, so you can go sub to her, and maybe one day she'll put a video up for this year.
Maybe one day. Maybe. I ran out of space on my iPad earlier, so I had to go and actually delete some stuff. But I have most of my drawing content, almost all of it.
And
just
we have Chase Williams in the chat.
Chase, how's it going?
Hey.
And also, Dale is here. Dale is our mod. So.
Welcome, Dale.
Chase, I know Chase from the Artcasters chat.
Oh yeah.
All right. So this episode is called New Beginnings. Since it's a new year, talk to Gary about what is coming up with the Dinosaurs versus Mars bots and anything going on, and we'll see where the show takes us.
Sounds great.
Here we go.
So let me get your books.
Oh my gosh, yeah. You know what? You can show my books, and I can't because I'm sold out right now. So
yes, I was going to say that.
There they are.
This is the pulp edition of 1997.
Gone for good. Sold out.
This was fun to see being made because you documented this pretty well on Instagram and on YouTube.
Yeah, because I wanted to emulate that kind of pulp 50s, 60s era sci-fi magazine cover. So I wanted it to look a little hand painted. That one I did more like traditionally. Just no vintage look to it other than being kind of B-movie. But yeah, that's one I tried to make painted. There's a lot of work
here.
It looks like you achieved it really well too.
Yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out, but boy, it was a slog.
This is the original cover.
Yeah, that's the original. That will be reprinted soon. Not committing to a date, but soon. I'm thinking.
So all those are sold out.
Definitely this first quarter. You'll be able to order reprints of D vs. M 1975 and 1997.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. So right now they're all sold out, but you can go on Etsy, and there's a link in the description below, and you can pick up the art of Dinosaurs versus Mars
Yes,
bots, and
which
it's
is
what
it's the
inspired
correct.
your
Yeah,
comic.
it's the pre-comic Dinosaurs versus Mars bot stuff I was doing when I was going around the convention circuit and wasn't doing a comic yet. And then people were coming up to my booth and asking for comics, and I was telling them no. And finally, I relented and decided, all right, I'll do a comic. And now that's all I'm doing. So, but that's like, yeah, it's kind of a blast from the past if you want to see where Dinosaurs versus Mars bots came from.
Nice.
But
Cyberness.
oh, Cyberness, how you doing?
Welcome.
He's a good egg. That Cyberness. And yeah. So I was watching your channel today. I was watching the character creation for Ruben Garcia. So that was
cool.
pretty interesting seeing how you came up with that, and you gave him like this, backstory. And,
Thank you. I appreciate you watching it. Yeah, so if you go to my YouTube channel, mostly it's process stuff. Mostly it's me talking about, process / vloggy stuff where I'm saying like where I am with the comic, what I'm working on right now, and talking a little bit about whatever that is. But there are 2 videos on there, and there's going to be more in the future that are sort of character creation and analysis videos where I do a deep dive into a particular major character from the comic series and talk about how I came up with them, what did the earliest ideas, like what I thought they would be, how I fleshed them out, how I worked them into the story, and why I made the choices I did. And then the last section is usually it's for the super fans who love that particular character, talking about like trivia about them, backstory, what I think brought them to that moment in their lives, where I think they went after that. Like really just getting, if you want to know all the kind of details about this character. Yeah.
And that was very interesting because you were also showing pictures. So for a moment I was like, wait, is he real?
Yeah, I know. I was real happy with a couple of them I found of Ruben because I thought with some of them I was like, that could be him. Like it kind of looks like, it could be a young Ruben.
Yeah. There was like a photo where he was a kid, but he was tall, and he was like, as you can tell, he's a big kid, and it like wait, was this based on a real person? I was like,
I was lucky with some of those pictures. But yeah, I went the whole thing, and like the first character I featured was Jennifer Burke, who was the main character of D vs. M 1997. I pictured her as sort of a kind of a rocker, groupie girl type in like the 80s and 90s. So I was looking at videos of like AC/DC concerts in the 80s, and and I was pulling pictures of like girls at concerts and stuff like that, just trying to get a sense of like what does this girl probably look like. There's Jenny sitting out and taking pictures and smoking.
Cool.
Ruben, who's the second video, he's the first Man in Black character you see in the series. D vs. M is like a sci-fi horror type comic, heavily character focused, but so like I said, each one there's kind of a POV character, one character that you're really focusing on through the whole comic. Those are the ones that I pick out to do a special video on, where I'll go into deep detail.
Oh, okay. So we're not gonna see an in-depth video on one of the Boy Scouts.
No, you're not gonna see like some side character. No, you might see. Well, I am planning on doing a video eventually about the older Man in Black character that you see in D vs. M.
Yeah.
So I'll probably feature him. That will probably be it of the existing. The next one I do after that will probably be the main character of the third D vs. M comic, which I am currently hard at work on. So yeah, that will be. I'll feature the protagonist of that one. Probably next year. Like once the comic is out and been out for a little while, then I'll circle back with a video on that person. So
okay, that's cool. And that goes into New Beginnings, because that's literally the next chapter of TV DBSM. We got some comments here from Chase. He says DVSM updates get me pumped every time. I've got a feeling the next installment is gonna change everything and be a it's gonna blow your mind.
It's it's weird to say about your own thing, but I think D versus M fans should be excited. I always try to like bring something bigger and better and different to each successive comic. And I'm really excited about this third one. I love them all, and I think they all the stories I've envisioned for the series, like are great in their own way. It's kind of like picking your favorite child, but right now I'm really excited about the third one.
Stay to the end of the show. I'll tell you my favorite child. So stay tuned.
Fantastic! Oh, big reveal. On the first one of the year.
Kids don't watch this one.
See, I'm here for the big news. Where are you? Nowhere. Who cares where you are, Jim? Who cares? I'm here. Okay, I'm sorry. I love Jim Lujan. It's friendly rival.
I know he's great. We should have him on again.
He's a great guy.
Imagine if he's guest number 2.
Yeah. Oh, well, we do it fantastic, because then he would be number 2 right behind me.
We actually do have a second guest lined up already, so it can't.
Oh, are you allowed to reveal?
Yeah, it's Adam Lore. You should know him. Adam Lore. He's in the chats. He's been a part of the D100s. He was in the first anthology that they did, which actually I do have here. He's been live streaming recently, so I've been on there. So I did show this off there.
Oh yeah, I have that somewhere in my bookshelf back there. Yeah.
And he did. Here it is. He did 2 of the stories there. So this one's Ted.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Ted something. I forget his name. But yeah, he's working on that comic. He actually has the first issue on Indie Planet, and he's working on the second one. So,
speaking of the devil, when he appeared, look at
here he is. And we'll talk more about that next week. Ooh, excellent.
Oh boy.
And Chase has some good comments.
Yeah.
Says, to me, the series also evokes Twin Peaks for some odd reason. The burger chain?
No, it's a totally different thing.
It's treasure. Don't look that up, man.
I appreciate that taste. Someone did say that D vs. M has sort of a David Lynch quality once, and I thought that was very flattering. So.
Treasures the mystery and open-ended nature of the premise and lets the reader's imagination build on everything. Yes, I used to watch Twin Peaks, the TV show. So yeah, I do get that vibe. So yeah.
That's a cool thing to say. But yeah, I'll be right now. I do a lot of prep for each one, mostly because they're period comics, like they're all taking place in different years, and I want to make sure all my little details are right. The next one is set in 1979, and the farther back you go, the more prep there is. Like,
oh wow, yeah.
Pick up a phone. What kind of phone would they have? Someone, is in an office. What do offices look like in 79? What are people wearing? Yeah. I want to get all those details right. So I'm in the late stages, not to mention, and I'm looking at it right now. It's right over here. I'm going to be doing a video on it soon. There's a dinosaur in at least one dinosaur in D vs. M 1979, and it's an unusual species. It's an unusual looking animal, and I wanted to get it exactly right. And I wanted to have some kind of physical reference I could look at when I was drawing. And it's the kind of dinosaur that you don't see a lot of toys of because it's a weird one. So I'll be doing you're getting the exclusive. This is going to be a huge D vs.
I'm very curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
I actually, I'm going to be doing a video about this. I hired a local paleo artist, a guy who works at one of the museums here, and his whole job is making dinosaurs for their exhibits. I hired him to sculpt me a bust of this dinosaur's head and neck at 1:1 scale. I want it full size. It's right there. I'm looking at it right there in my office. But
that is so awesome.
When I'm drawing, and I'm not going to reveal it yet because I want people to read the comic and wonder what the dinosaur is going to be. But I'm going to do a video about finding this guy and working. It was the first time in all of D vs. M history I basically pulled in another creative to kind of collaborate on a visual design. Like I've always done everything myself, but this one I thought I'm going to go to a specialist and kind of say, like, this is what I'm picturing, this is what I'm thinking, and this is the species I want. Like, go, show me what that would look like. And it's very cool. I'm excited to start teasing it.
I can't wait to find out.
That sounds great. Exclusive.
And
you can't see it.
Turaco
After a show, we might see it, but not you guys. They'll see you should have come up.
Because you had me on, I think that's the least second, because you had me first ahead of Jim Lujan.
I know, it was a toss-up. We're like, should we have Jim or should we have Gary? And I can't say who made the design vote.
I think you chose right, because when we go off air, I'll show you the sculpt. It's pretty cool.
Awesome.
And yeah, Dale, there's a thing as a paleo artist.
Speaking of, you can't choose your favorite kids. Here are my kids. So after the show, guys.
Oh, you're gonna name your favorite?
No.
Yes.
No. Yes, Adele and says he didn't know there was a paleo artist. So like, I think
paleo artist
makes sense.
I mean, that's got to be one of the coolest art jobs. If I could pick, if I could do any art job in the world, paleo artist.
Oh yeah.
That's like a really cool job. I think that would be like being I'm an alien artist. So like based on the facts,
that would be second,
and on the evidence, I sketch what these aliens could look like if they were still here.
If they were still
ancient
around.
alien astronaut theorists say yes.
Yeah. Yes, and I would think that like Jurassic Park, they probably hired like a paleo artist.
I hate if you search through my channel for Jurassic Park, you'll find I have a little rant about it. I would go ahead and say I don't think they're consulting a lot of paleo artists because
I do know because some of the dinosaurs aren't
very inaccurate.
The velociraptors aren't to scale, and also the feather issue and
there's lots of weird issues. I think they have really.
I see Anna trying to decide which dinosaur model to grab.
I just have kind of a collection of oddities up there.
So no, I don't think they're consulting. I don't think they're.
Yeah, makes sense. Probably not.
They
Especially after the. I don't remember which one it was, but like, were they mutated ones? I don't think they consulted me.
Oh yeah, I think was that the last one?
I think second to the last, like the more recent ones.
All the new ones have had mutant weird ones, like custom made. Yeah,
I think the kind of excuse, there's got to be a nicer word for that, but the reasoning for them all being kind of different is that they're all GMO dinosaurs.
Yeah, they tried to. I think what it was in the Jurassic World movie, they tried to. I think they threw something in there. I think for people like me who have been critical about. They had the lead geneticists say these don't even look like the real thing because he wanted them to look a certain way. Like talking to the CEO, the idea being they're making them look how the public wants dinosaurs to look. Exactly. Yeah. And that's maybe there's kind of acknowledgement, these aren't. I still am unhappy with it. I don't know. They lost me with the Jurassic World movies. I like the first one a lot. The dinosaur designs are still pretty bad, but I really like that first movie. Kind of everything after that, I've been liking them less and less. But no offense to anybody who loves Jurassic Park. Love Jurassic Park by all means. It's awesome, but I don't know.
And in the second one, they I think it's one of the characters, I don't remember which one, says, "Oh, they're not real dinosaurs; those are just clones." So I think he was like kind of addressing that, like, "Oh, why on these dinosaurs? They're like, those aren't real dinosaurs. Like they're just
they're not real. Well, and they're cobbled together out of frog DNA.
Frog DNA.
So I guess they have an in-universe explanation for why they look weird, you know. But I don't know. I still want to know how they got that mosasaur's DNA. I want to know what mosquito bit the mosasaur. Then got frozen in amber. None of that makes any sense to me. But okay.
Yeah, because their skin will be pretty thick.
Like it was a seafaring mosquito, aquatic mosquito, diving, swimming underwater. I don't know. It's whatever.
That's true. Yeah.
No, actually, I don't think it is.
No. So I'm in prep mode. February, I start drawing, and then I'll be drawing probably easily for the rest of the year, just drawing pages. And then somewhere around the end of the year, or God forbid, very early next, I'll have a new D versus M comic for people to read. But,
yay!
Yeah, I'm excited to get back to it. I meant to be drawing by now, but also on the topic of new beginnings, I was moving. Like I got an opportunity to move into a house mid-December, and between like moving and holidays, like right within, like I just
so busy. Oh man,
I totally blew up my productivity. Like I thought I would be drawing by now, and now it's like drawing February.
Yeah, like that's the same thing that happened to us, and I know especially to me. By this time, I was or like I wanted to be done with the third mini issue of Captain Goggles and MASKUP bugging out before, or like the maybe the first few days of January, but like just holidays and Christmas and Thanksgiving, and it's like you know, I got sick 1 week, and now like I'm a lot better now, but like even like a few days ago I was still like coughing, and so I wasn't really doing a lot of work. I was just like I'm just like little sketches stuff, like if I was doing a lot of pages, so like, but now like I already knocked out a few pages. But yeah, like stuff comes up, and you know.
Yeah, it's been crazy.
Well, and you just gotta, you know, just be willing to make peace with it and readjust. You know, just it's like, well, you know, but that was tough. I mean, that first week or two, realizing like I'm behind and I'm not going to be able to catch up. I'm not going to be able to hit my original timeline. You know, you're just in a foul mood. At least I am. Like that first week or two, you're like, God, it sucks. Like I wanted to be doing this. I wanted to be doing this. I wanted to be farther ahead. I wanted to, you know, and then you finally just have to like, look, it is what it is. You're moving during Christmas. What are you gonna do? You know, like, I mean, you're gonna lose some time. It's fine. It's all fine. Like one of the benefits of being an indie, one of the many benefits, is I'm on my schedule. I'm not on anybody else's. You know, it's not like I have a boss breathing down my neck saying like, "You said you'd be 3 pages into D versus M by now." It's like, no, I'm giving myself a break.
They want to see the new dinosaur. They're rooting for that new dinosaur. We need that sketch now. Yeah, and we also I don't know if you find this, because with all these little setbacks, like I was able, once like I got back into the comic, like okay, looking at the pages and talking to Joanna, like, hey, we can do this and we can do that, like we're able to kind of like look back and say, hey, we can improve this, and
Yeah.
that's where right now where we're at with the graphic novel version, which that's the rebooted version where like we're really gonna like delve into it. Like Anna brought in this new concept, and at first I was like, man, I don't know, but then I thought about it, and like all this time happened, so like I was able to like look at it in the new eyes, and yeah, I think it'll
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, that's a good
And
positive way to look at it. I mean, on the bright side of this, I think I've spent more time doing prep for this comic than either of the previous ones. And hopefully that will result in a better book, that I'll be just more organized and more thought out and all of that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys have seen or are fans of The Thing, the John Carpenter movie.
Oh, okay.
But it's a sci-fi horror classic. It's pretty gross. It's R-rated, but it's a lot of fun. But it's just lots of people will tell you it's one of the best scripts in any movie, not just horror movie, but like any movie anywhere. And part of that is because when they were first trying to get it made, they wrote the script and then they tried to do the normal movie thing of like, okay, let's get a budget, let's cast some people, let's build sets, blah, blah, blah. And something happened where I don't remember what the details were, but there was something where they weren't going to be able to start doing any of that for a year or 18 months or something like that. It was going to be a huge delay. So all John Carpenter did the whole time waiting was polish the script. Just polish it and polish it and polish it and polish it. And even though there was this delay and he didn't get to start when he wanted, it's this kind of amazingly well done, well written script because he had that time. And I'm trying to get that mentality where it's like, I'm really getting my page layouts figured out. I'm really getting a sense of like what I want things to look like and different visual things I want to do in this comic compared to the last ones. And so, that's, I guess, the bright side.
Yeah, I love it when things are all thought out and like well put together and well executed.
It shows. Yeah. I think it shows.
Yeah. And Chase says something good here. Says I have to bring my car in for auto body repair work tomorrow morning, and so I'm currently drawing artwork for my book to put this afternoon to good use. So.
Good job.
I'm glad you're making use of your time.
Good adjusting, good rolling with the punches. Yeah, so that's right. Yeah, that's what. Also, I'm gonna try and make up for some lost ground with the drawing. And it was a conversation I was having with Jim Lujan, as a matter of fact. Not the first. He's not number one yet. Like it's somewhere in the top 5 maybe, but not number 1, not first of the year guest. But anyway, he
5th of the year.
He was asking me, because I've talked in a lot of my videos and when I make appearances and stuff, that my rate is I try to do a page a week. Not try, I do a page a week. Like that is, once I'm in drawing mode, I crank out 1 finished comic page a week. And when I started, I think that was a very useful thing. It kept me on task. It kept me, focused on like every week was a deadline, basically. Every week I had a new page to be doing, and every Saturday morning I expected to be starting a new page. But it got to the point where I was getting pretty comfortable with that pace, and maybe I could have squeezed out more, like a little bit faster, maybe rather than a full 7 days to turn out a page, maybe I could have done it in 5 and started the next, but I wasn't. And suddenly the 1 page a week rate became more of a holding me back figure than a motivating figure. Like I could have maybe been getting it done faster. So, and that was something I was talking about with Jim, where he was like, you might want to just see if you can push. Just see if, like you don't let the work suffer, but see, like, if you really don't hold yourself to like a page a week, see if you can maybe get a page wrapped up in 4 or 5 days and then start the next one. And, over months, like you're getting more pages out. I'm definitely going to be doing that with this next one, because first, just to test, just to see, but then second, to try and make up this lost ground, since I really hoped to be drawing this month and now I'm going to be drawing February instead. Like maybe I can end up in the same timeline that I originally imagined. But, Chase has a question.
Does he?
I see that.
All right.
What licensed property or franchise would you want to work on the most? As in a comic. That gets an okay. Okay, comic-wise. Boy. Let me think about that.
If anyone else has some questions,
That's
put them in
a
the
tough
comments.
question. Here's the thing, Chase. Like I enjoy comics. I read comics. I have since I was a kid.
What's that? Block Chase? Hold on.
I know. No. But the problem is I kind of, and this is not necessarily true. This is a sweeping thing to say, but I'm not convinced. Like, for example, like some of my favorite superheroes, I mean, would be all the class, like Batman, Spider-Man, Superman, all those. But I'm not convinced there's a Spider-Man story left to tell. I'm not convinced there's a Batman story left to tell. I'm not convinced. Like, I feel like it's all kind of been done. And I think if you want to tell, for example, a Superman story that's never been told, you have to change that character so much that you're going to aggravate. I think that's what people run into now. I think people blame like wokeness and PC. I don't think that's what it is. I think like you're kind of boxed in. It's like, how the hell do you do anything new with Batman? So like in the effort to do something new with Batman, you have to kind of go off the reservation a little bit. And if you go off the reservation, then all the diehard Batman fans are like, that's not my Batman. Like, yeah, I didn't grow up with that Batman. You know what? So that's why it's like I'm kind of not interested in the big properties. I think if Marvel or DC or someone came to me and said, we're gonna pay you to write one of these comics, you pick, I would probably be looking at one of the newer ones or one of the niche ones or one of the smaller superheroes, like something where there's not like decades of history and stories. You know, I would really want to try to find something where there's a lot of room to do something fresh and fun and push the character in a new direction. You can't push Spider-Man in a new direction. I don't know what you do with Spider-Man. Like, and I love Spider-Man, but there's nothing left. Every Spider-Man story's been told, you know.
No, don't block anyone. Leave Chase alone. I was just making a joke.
Yeah, Bill Finger would cry. I mean, you know, Batman is unrecognizable to his original. I mean, and he's changed a lot, and I like some of the, you know, I'm not anti any of that stuff. It's just, this is why I'm into indies, and this is why I read indies, you know, because you don't have the burden of legacy where you can actually read a new story. You know, you can actually, or meet a character you've never met before.
Yeah, so that's true. I don't know if they're already it's already been done or not, but they're doing a Moonlight TV series, and I think I heard somewhere that one of the reasons they chose that character because it's a niche character, so there isn't like a lot of lore behind it, and the way that character is, you have like free reign to kind of like make up some lore or add on to it, and it's still like an interesting story because it doesn't have that recognition. Unless like you're a hardcore comic fan, but like for the people in the like regular people are just like, oh, what's this? This is a new show. Like they don't know, and you're kind of able to like do more with it.
And just in case it seemed like I was slippery, I just got an answer that popped into my head. If I had to pick some major property, it would be G.I. Joe. Only because, first of all, it was the comic I kind of grew. It was my favorite comic as a kid. So I have like kind of a nostalgia for it. But second, I always felt like that's a comic that you could, when they were doing the movies, and I hated them so much. It was because I felt like I had an idea how you could do this. you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so like and that was my frustration. It's like you could be loyal to the source material but also modernize it and make it fresh and cool and fun. And like some of it, like GI Joe Resolute, that animation was pretty cool, but like I think that if I had to, if Marvel came to me and said like, no, you have to do something big, what do you want to do? It's like, okay, let me do a new run of GI Joe. You know, I think I would enjoy that. But because it's another area where it has a long legacy, but I don't think fans are as nutty about it as they are about, you know.
Yeah. And there isn't unless like you go into like some of the comics, but like for the show, there wasn't really in-depth character.
No,
creation.
no one's gonna say
so
like that's not my Storm Shadow. You know, that's not my Flint and Lady J romance. You know, I mean, like you have some room there, but at the same time, they are dumb things. Like I remember originally with the movie, they wanted to have Snake Eyes talk or something. And like that's like the only thing we know really about Snake Eyes. I mean, that's not true, not the only thing, but one of the major things about Snake Eyes from the comics is he never talks. So there's a few basic things, but it's not so fleshed out. It's not like if I said, let me write a Darth Vader between the prequel and original trilogy comic. Like I don't want anything to do with that shit because I don't want to deal with the fans. And I don't want to deal with like all the weird lore and canon that I got to navigate around.
Yeah.
You know, like, try to find new ground in here. That's why, like, you know, I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but it makes me nervous when I see they're doing this Kenobi series for Disney Plus.
Oh yeah.
Where I think part of my apprehension is as a creative, I'm sitting thinking like, what would you even do with that? And it's hard to picture. It's hard to picture what you
there's
doing. You know, like why
there's not that really that much you can do with that character because it's all been done unless you do his time on Tatooine. But like I figured he was a hermit, so like what would
And so then if you say like, well, that's going to be boring, so let's make him go off world, and it's like, well, I thought he's supposed to be protecting Luke, and it's like, well, maybe he has to go off world to protect Luke, and it's like, all right. And then in the trailer for it, this isn't a spoiler, they allude that like Obi-Wan and Vader have a new face-off. And it's like, now wait a minute. And this is like the example, like the burden of being, I'm part of the problem, but I'm like, okay, in A New Hope, it seemed very clear that Vader and Kenobi hadn't seen each other in forever, you know, and they thought maybe even Kenobi was dead. If they just had a sword fight like 5 years before, you know, like now you're screwing it up. You're screwing up the canon. But this is the problem. Like if I had to do a Batman, there would be some equivalent of me out there who'd be like, you can't do that with Batman because didn't you read comic number 127 back in 1974? You know, I mean, there'd be this thing where it's like, no, I don't know. I can't. You've boxed me in. I don't know what to do with this. So
it's Batman like you are your own worst enemy.
Batman doesn't like sushi. He only likes
sushi. What? But that's why, and my apology to people who might like these storylines. That's why you see goofy nonsense like Batman marrying Catwoman because they have no ideas left. Like they don't. There's nothing left to do. Batman has caught Joker 8,000 times. Like there's no new story to tell. Like so now you're coming up with crazy nonsense. Like, what if Batman became a vampire? You know, it's like, all right, like, you know, just because you're desperate, you don't know what else to do with this person.
Yeah, I think it's a manga they did it in Japan where I don't know, so I just kind of heard about like Batman is turned into a baby, so the Joker doesn't have anyone to fight, so he raises Batman. so he can, when he's older, he can fight him.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And like, okay, like that's interesting. Like, I want to see that because it's kind of like out there, but like it wouldn't make sense because
I love that
it's
idea.
Not, I don't know, it's just kind of like it's kind of out there, but I like that. That is something probably the Joker would do because he's like, no, like I want to fight Batman.
Batman
he needs that. Or like in the Lego movie, where it's like this whole plot line where like the Joker is like, I'm your best villain. It's like, I don't even know you. Like, I don't even like you.
Oh yeah, yeah,
and he's
yeah.
all sad and depressed.
He's
So like,
so sad.
I love
Yeah,
Batman.
that was good.
That was actually a pretty good incarnation of Batman.
Yeah, like that was pretty
Something
good.
new.
Like, I like that.
That was fun. Yeah, because they went this sort of like silly route, and then that gives you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I did have an idea for like a Batman thing like in college, and for all I know, it's been done. I don't know, but I was thinking about the fact that like, you know, the window that you could be an effective Batman has to be really tight because of the wear and tear on your body. Like that has to be like, you know, I bet you could only be Batman, an effective Batman for like 10 or 15 years. And I wasn't sure how, like, that's, so what do you do with that? And I thought, well, maybe you could make it where Batman is more of a, like a dynasty kind of thing where Alfred is the last generation old Batman. Batman is current Batman. Robin is the apprentice Batman, and they're constantly aging that way. So when Alfred dies, Batman retires, becomes the new Alfred. Robin becomes the new Batman, and then they find a new Robin, and it's this, you know, like I thought maybe you could do something like that. But then I thought, no, I don't think the fans would want that at all. Like they would not be interested in that. I don't know. So there's nothing you can do. But
well, then you could have a climactic battle where like all the retired Batmen show up and they're like in their suit.
You could.
They fight the bad guy.
Yeah. Well, now that's kind of in vogue where you have all the multiverse stuff. I mean, it seems like that's what we're going to be seeing in movies and TV for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Every version of Batman you ever wanted, every version of Superman you ever wanted, every version of... Just wait till they bring in a different version of Iron Man. I mean, it's all inevitable. And I don't know, again, I hate to be like the Simpsons comic book guy, but it feels a little bit like a cop-out. Like, I feel like the multiverse stuff has a high risk of just being really sloppy, lazy writing, you know, where it's like, you don't know what to do. Let's bring in evil, like let's bring in Evil Hulk. Let's bring in, oh, you liked Ed Norton as Bruce Banner? Let's bring him back. You know, like, I mean, and just, they can just do whatever they want for like fan service reasons. I don't know. I don't know. But I'm reading comments.
Yeah, there's a bunch of comments. We got some people popping up. We got Telepathic Bunny in the chats. We got Nefarious. We got Gabriel Nessa.
Welcome.
Got people hopping on.
Lady Batman.
There's like a lot of comments.
Yeah. But see, this is almost an example. Lady Batman and Lady Joker. Like, I'm surprised they haven't done that. Because, again, there's no Batman story left to tell. So what are you going to do? Like, all you can do is change the scenery. And, like, hey. I mean, they actually have a Lady Joker, right? Wasn't
there?
Yeah,
like, there's a Lady Batman, and I know in I think Flashpoint.
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne's mom becomes the Joker, and his dad becomes Batman because Bruce Wayne is the one that got killed.
Again, my theory, what I would propose is because there's nothing left to do with Batman. They've told every Batman story a dozen different ways, frontwards and backwards, from every angle, and now you've got to come up with crazy stuff, you know, like just to come up with a story to tell. I don't know. I would, and I sympathize with them. My heart bleeds for them. I can't even imagine how miserable it would be to be a DC or Marvel writer right now, because all they want you on are these money-making characters. Like they really need you to crank out Batman and Iron Man and Spider-Man and Superman, and you know, like all you need to do these people, and I don't know what you do with them. And it's funny when I meet other indies where I think their end goal is to like get a little attention, break out, get hired by Marvel or DC and write for them. And it's like, oh, I feel like that would be the worst thing that could ever happen. You know, like if they come to you and say like, write a Peter Parker story, we're going to have, you know, banker boxes delivered to your house tomorrow of all the rules, you know, for how to write people, what you can and can't do, and what has and has not already happened, and what, you know, we'll have a panel of like kind of, you know, Marvel Illuminati who will review your script and tell you because no, you can't do this with him and you can do this, and oh, that's interesting. Like, it's just sounds like death by a thousand.
This character is celibate, so leave that character.
Yeah, I mean, but seriously, I think that's why they're doing these things. Like, I mean, it's an easy way to mix it up when you see these superheroes being made bisexual or whatever. I think it's because it's like, what else are they going to do?
Yeah.
Punch the Joker again? You know, like,
Nefarious says, no, that's storytelling. Wayne's mom being Joker and his dad being Batman has a plot, and it's stakes that it's interesting and stuff. That's not comics.
I mean, it's not that it's not interesting. I think it's just, again, my take. Could absolutely be wrong.
Yeah.
In my take.
Yeah, and we're not
like
bashing.
No. I think they have to do it, and it is interesting, but they have to do it because there's nothing interesting left to do with Bruce Wayne. Like, Bruce Wayne is played. Like, Clark Kent is played. You know,
and even that was like an alternate timeline, so like it kind of reverted. So like you knew whatever was going on, it wasn't gonna stick.
Well, and not
so
only
it's
that,
like, I can do whatever I want, and it's gonna revert anyway.
And it doesn't aggro the classic fans, you know, like, because you're not messing with Bruce Wayne. You're messing with an alternate universe, you know, like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like you get them, so they're not going to start hashtagging you, you know, and making YouTube videos. Like, I mean, it's
Okay. There's
welcome, Ronnie.
Is Ronnie here? Ronnie.
Yeah. What's up?
I'm trying, Dale. I'm trying to censor as much as I can. But not that I'm pro censoring, but just it's everything.
What did you do? What did you do that wasn't PG-13?
Oh, like one of the previous comments had a cuss word, and I didn't say the cuss word. I said something else.
Oh. Dale, I would love to do a Robin Hood. I would love to do any kind of period quasi-historical thing. Like, I think that would be really cool, because that's another area where I think it's pretty rich and there's a lot of unclaimed territory. You know, I think you could do a lot of things, and especially historical stuff. Like, I would love to do actually like historical stuff. This wouldn't be my number one choice, but I went down this rabbit hole the other day. Like a William Wallace comic, because Braveheart is entertaining as hell. It's a really fun movie. And it is the worst history you've ever seen in your life. It's nothing like any of it. They're not dressed right. They're not using the right weapons. Like, it doesn't tell you anything about the real William Wallace. That period, though, is really interesting. And I think it could make a pretty cool historical graphic novel. Like, so those are the areas I'd be looking for. What's an area where no one's really done this justice? And like,
Trying to remember his name. He was a guest on the Artcasters, but he has this graphic novel. It's history, but it's like fiction history. So I think the character is what's his name?
Was it Kenmore? Was it the Caravaggio?
Yeah, I think it's Kenmore. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. See, so that's a great idea. And that's like a very historical. It's a great comic, and it's very like graphic novel, whatever. But it's very, it's a very like it's just an area that it's a story a lot of people don't know. It's very historical. Like you read it and you think like this reads like a comic, like this reads like crazy. But a lot of that is absolutely what happened. So like that's a perfect example of like. It's a great story. It's a story that would be fun to tell in comic form, and nobody's really doing it. So like that's what I would be curious in. If someone came to me and were like, we want to hire you to do whatever you want, I would be looking for stuff like that. Like, what's something that I think I could bring something to that not 48,000 other people have done. You know, I'm not interested in coming up with a new Superman. But
T Bunny says, I have a story where Dr. Watson joined the Scotland Yard and became their police surgeon while Holmes was dead.
Dead
Dead.
It
in
was
quotes.
very well. Yeah, it was
Was it
very
like
well received. Also, it's a published comic, T Bunny. Like it's something you've already finished. That would be interesting.
Cool.
Yeah,
Nefarious
so
is
like
really
he's
hammering
pushing.
on
Yeah, I know he's. Yeah, I know
he's
he's.
yeah, he's loving
He,
the current state of comics.
yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna say this about I just to to understand. Like I really do feel like I appreciate the dilemma of Marvel and DC, and
They should hire me
I
to run.
think the problem is
Yeah.
they 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 have these characters that make them money.
Yeah.
I think if you were
They're money
creative,
grabbers.
if you didn't care about the money at all, if you didn't care at all about the commercial aspect of, like, for example, the Marvel characters, let's say the X-Men. The X-Men's a great example.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't care about the commercial aspect, to me, it makes sense. I mean, some of the X-Men have been around, what, 60 years? Something like that? Like, it's forever.
Yeah.
I think you start aging these people out and having them die off, and you're constantly reintroducing new mutants. And that would keep it fresh because there would always be a new character to like meet and know and new powers and all that. But they can't do that because too many people are buying the comics for Wolverine. Like they don't have the room to develop a new character. They have to put Wolverine and Cyclops and Jean Grey and like all this and Professor X and all this well-trodden stuff in there.
Yeah, they try to kill off some of the characters, but
they try and people lose their minds, and then they reboot, and they're like, "Well, we'll start over." It's like, well, but now we're just meeting these same characters we already know all over again.
Yeah,
like I get that, but I think they've their success has become now their curse. Like they are. If you're at Marvel and you're working X-Men, the rest of until you die, you're going to be doing Wolverine comics. Like, I mean, there's no, and then if you retire or leave, they're going to bring in another person to do Wolverine comics because we need more Logan because that sells. And
that's what T Bunny was saying, that with one of those stories, they just fired the guy and hired someone else.
Yeah, so, I think that's
resetting everything.
I mean, they're stuck. What are they supposed to do? Like how many more things can Wolverine stab with his claws? Like none. But Wolverine sells comics. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes their heart's in the right place when they try to kill off these legacy characters. I think they're
trying to kind of lay them to rest.
But then
put them out of the public light for a while. So I know at first, like for a while, there was characters that are now very popular, but back then, not that much. And they will kind of like sideline the character for a while and then bring him back, and then it'd be like, oh, like this character came back. Like, oh, okay. It's not like once the movies started coming out, that's when like, oh, everyone now loves Wolverine. When before you didn't know who he was, and now like he has to be in every single thing. Like, I don't know how many solo Wolverine movies they've made where they try to kill him off and space him out, and they keep bringing him back in. And for you, Jackman, it's like,
you
can't play Wolverine anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like maybe the movies will help this along, like the MCU, these actors, they get old, they get in car wrecks, they get fat, things are going to happen where you're going to have to move on. You're not always going to have a Hawkeye in an Avengers movie. You're not always going to have, you're clearly not going to have an Iron Man. Eventually, Mark Ruffalo is going to get old. You're not going to have the Hulk.
Yeah.
I think that will have to do what I would suggest for the comics, which is you got to move on and you got to come up with something new. And if people want a classic Wolverine story or a classic Cyclops story, there are decades and decades of comics to go get out of your local comic book shop. But we gotta keep coming up with new stories, or else I don't know. I have no solutions for this. This is my take. as an indie, and this is why, like, I'm not dreaming of doing, like, my end goal, my creative goal is to be doing that. So
yeah, I really like having the freedom to be able to come up with your own lore and then also connect the dots by doing your own research and not having all of the stuff that's connected to it and a kind of corporate agreement on how everything should go, a whole bunch of rules, or fans that are long time and gonna critique your work a whole bunch.
Editorial mandates, like you have to have this storyline or have to have this character. Like, oh, that character.
Well, like I said, like, I love Star Wars so much. I'm a huge Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
I would never want to write a Star Wars. Never in 1,000 years. Because, like, I saw, and this might be a hot take, like, I saw people's reaction to The Last Jedi, which is my second favorite Star Wars movie of all time. I thought The Last Jedi was phenomenal. I liked it better. It's right behind Empire Strikes Back for me. But I saw the Star Wars fan community lose their minds because that's not my Luke, you know, like that. And that's kind of like, to me, that just encapsulates, like, why would you want to take that on? You know, why would you want to? If they came to me and, like, you could do a Star Wars script, it's like, all right, well, I want to do it 2,000 years after Return of the Jedi. You know, like, I want to be so clear of all that other stuff where I can do whatever I want and it doesn't matter. I don't appreciate. I'm reading. Let's see here. I don't appreciate that crap on the traditional fans try to appeal to new fans by telling the same old stories with new versions. Well, I mean, it's, you know, I think they're flailing a little bit. You know, I think they're, you know, they're just trying to figure out how to get dollars other than from the movies. You know, the movies make money. The shows make pretty good money, but, like, I think comics, I don't know. I think they have a lack of purpose. I don't think they know what they want to do, and I don't think they know. I think they know what works, like what gets the money, but I think that there's no real future in it. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's just there's no appeal in it. It's such a confusing time.
Yeah. Now here's a question: if like Marvel or some big company says, "Hey, we saw your comic. We want it to be in the Marvel universe. We want to buy the rights. We want to turn to movies." Would you do it?
Well, I have to admit, I've always sort of had a dream of, like, I would love to see D versus M realized as, like, a series or a movie or something like that. But no, it would depend on the deal. Like, I don't want to give up creative control. I think there are other things I would be willing to do, you know, but, like, I don't. Again, like, it's not my.
I think that's the key, having creative control, and I think, like, a series, like, it doesn't have to be like Marvel or anything, but, like, a series or a movie, even if it's like how Javier Hernandez did it. They did an indie movie, a student film of his comic El Muerto, and, like, you know, he was kind of involved and he was able to kind of foresee it. He didn't like tell him no, not this, but, like, he liked, like, he was involved, so he liked what was going on, and it wasn't a big studio. It was like these, you know, this film project, and then now it's like you can get it on Amazon or something. But I think there's a way.
I'd be very wary of selling D versus M to anybody because I more than any other reason than I've heard how some of those deals work and, like, the kind of money a creator gets, and it's not as much as some might imagine, you know. So, like, let's say hypothetically, you know, Marvel or DC or Dark Horse, somebody came to me and were like, "Hey, we want to publish D%, we want the rights. We're going to give you a cool $25,000. $25,000, like, I'm not, look, that's a lot of money, But if it's your baby, it's your creative passion project. It's something like mine you've spent years on and you care about, and it's very personal to you. What is 25 grand? Like what? I'll pay off all my bills, and I'll have like rent free for a few years. And then what? And then this thing that I cared about is like now being pimped out, and they're making stupid cartoons. Like I don't understand. I would do it. I would basically just want to like just publish straight, but I maintain complete creative control, or at least approval. Like if you're going to do something weird with it, you need my buy-in. But it's not. I think people have this idea that if you're an indie and you get bought out, someone's coming to you with like $10 million. It's not. Yeah. They're coming to you with like $12,000. Again, if you're in a tough place, like for a lot of people that could be life-changing money, but it's not like, oh, now I can like live in a mansion and it could maybe get you out of debt, maybe pay off your credit card. I don't know. Like it's not life-changing really. And do you really want to talking again about who's your favorite child? Do you really want to? This is something that's personal to you and you care about it. Do you want to give it up for just something like that? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, and we've had this conversation before, Anna and I, with Captain Goggles and Mask Woman, and we've decided like we don't want to give up creative control. Maybe like a license, hey, kitty. But not like, oh, you can do whatever you want with my characters. Like no. It's like, you're not gonna touch my characters if that's your intention.
Yeah, no, that gets into like, what are you in it for? Why are you doing it? I do meet creators that want to be doing it for a living. They want to be making money off it. They want to break into a publisher, and they want to, like, their comic is really just a way to get some attention, to freelance some scripts or some drawing for Marvel or DC or somebody else. Like that's the goal. That's what they're trying to do. And in that case, sure, it makes sense. But for some people, it's a passion project, or it's just their own creative expression. It's the difference between someone who's cranking out, like I live in Arizona. If you go into the tourist areas, there are painters that just crank out oil paintings of like cowboys on horses all day long to sell to tourists. Like to me, that's like if you go to work for Marvel, it's like, we need you to draw Hulk this week. Like, or there's people who are in their garage painting portraits or abstract, whatever they're doing, because they love it, because it makes them happy, because it allows them to express themselves. And there's not a monetary goal with it. It's like, this is their creative expression. That's pretty much what my comics are. Like, it's nice that I sell them. It's nice that I make money on them. But I've said this from the beginning, even if I had like 12 readers, that's fine. Like it's not about, I'm not trying, like the goal isn't for me to have D versus M on Disney Plus or Amazon. The goal is for me to be creatively fulfilled and tell my stories and draw my comics. That's the goal, like, so.
Right on.
Anything after that,
quite the conversation going on.
I Hornet's Nest with the Last Jedi. The Last Jedi's, I'm sorry, man. I'm not gonna say it's good or bad in a cosmic way, because that's subjective. But again, 100% second favorite Star Wars movie of all time. Like, that's so good. And I will also say Rise of Skywalker, one of the worst Star Wars movies of all time. So bad. Come at me. I don't care. Hashtag me. Call me. Like I terrible. Terrible.
Didn't someone, speaking of coming at you, didn't someone come at you because they thought you were ripping off the Eternals because of this cover?
No, but I'm worried about it because the Eternals has a poster that's exactly the same. Now,
okay, so I saw you post something like that, so I thought people were like going after you.
I'm worried that someone is going to think that, even though that cover came out well before that poster. But like,
and this is historical.
And only because I've had those based on
something.
I've had those kinds of encounters at Comic Cons. Like, look, I'm a geek. I'm an indie comic geek, and I love our community. But even we can admit there are people in our community that are trash. Like, just the worst people you're ever going to have to sit and talk to. And there's been a couple times at conventions where some guy, it's always a guy, will strut up to your table and accuse you of ripping off something. Which is like crazy and wrong, and like, but it doesn't matter. Like, they see some similarity with something, and now they think they gotcha. And it's I don't know. It's just a weird sport with like the mega nerds. Like, it's terrible. But that's when I saw that Eternals poster. I was like, damn it, because this looks like my cover from like last year. And I know someone's not going to do their due diligence, not going to know the dates. I'm going to be at a convention a year from now or something. They're going to come up to me and say, like, I know where you got the idea for your 97 cover, and I might have to choke them. I can't stand that stuff. And I can't stand, I mean, you're accusing me of plagiarism. That's a pretty strong charge. Like, no. I'm just dreading it. I know someone's going to say it.
Yeah, and Neff brings it up. Cover homage is a thing, so our cover swipes. People are touchy about them.
I'm very comfortable with the fact that 97 came out before the Eternals poster. So, if anything, Marvel ripped me off. But of course, Marvel didn't rip me off. It's just a weird coincidence. But I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I was like, wow, that looks really similar. But...
All right, so we've actually gone over the hour mark.
Oh boy!
Oh, look at that! I have not seen the Eternals yet, Chase, but I saw it's on Disney Plus, so I'm going to watch it probably this week. I have no.
I haven't seen it either.
I haven't seen it.
I can't tell you because I haven't seen it either.
And I'm completely 100% unfamiliar with the comic. Like, I don't know. I'll be going in totally blind to it.
Yeah, like I hear they changed a lot, and the comic is like so obscure that like you don't really need to know a lot. I don't know. Like, I barely found out that, like, oh, it's a comic.
Yeah, I don't think I ever saw it. I don't know. And I don't recognize any of the characters, the names. Like, I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm hoping it's cool. I've never seen. The last Marvel thing I saw movie was Shang-Chi, which I thought was cool. It was pretty good. Right now, I'm watching the Boba Fett series.
Okay. Yeah, guys, you want to go check out Gary's YouTube channel? It's there in the links.
Go check it out.
Chase,
make sure to subscribe.
Chase is given basically a thumbs down to Eternals, but I've heard a lot of mediocre reaction to a lot of lukewarm reaction to Eternals. So maybe that'll help me. I'll be going in just not expecting a lot. Maybe it'll be all right.
Going over low expectations.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Nefarious is also okay. I'll expect. Is it long? Is it one of those like super long?
I'm not sure.
I know nothing.
Is it a long movie? I
don't know.
Well, Shang-Chi was kind of dumb too, to be honest.
Let's see here.
Okay. Well, now we're just reviewing movies. So.
Oh yeah. No, Return of the Jedi is great. I love Return of the Jedi. It's a bad rap. People talk about the Ewoks like, it's like they're in it for an hour and a half. Like it's fine. Yeah, it's all about the Vader Emperor Luke stuff. Like, that stuff is amazing, and the whole Jabba thing, like the whole sail barge thing, is fantastic.
All right. So, if there's anything else you wanna direct people to, there is the Etsy shop for the Dinosaur versus Mars bots. You can go check out.
Yeah. If you favorite the shop,
art book.
Oh. Yes, you can get the art book, and if you favorite the shop, you'll get an alert when I restock the comics. So if you've missed out on the 2 comics I have out now, once they're reprinted, like, you'll know. But so other than that, I my YouTube is I'm trying to get more. I'm going to be starting up videos after my move in the holidays. There'll probably be a video in the next week or two, and then I'll be getting back to a regular release schedule of videos. And then my Instagram, if you want to follow me on Instagram, you'll see also there's every once in a while teases and updates of whatever I'm working on. That's dinosaurs versus marsbots.com. So dinosaurs vs marsbots. Let's see here. What are we looking at? Leia and Return of the Jedi was a beast. Sail barge was dope. Ending was awesome. Yeah, exactly. 100% agree, Nefarious. Yeah, and the Ewoks weren't even that bad, but you're talking about like 10 minutes in the whole movie. It's fine. And let's see. Nihilistic, okay. And then I like the Ewoks. Yeah, the Ewoks are fine. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's people trying to be like, they're too cool for Ewoks. It's fine. You're not a baby. You're not a wimp if you're not offended by Ewoks. It's fine. Ewoks are fine. It's all about the Emperor, Luke, Vader. I will just admit, as a Star Wars geek, when I watched that last thing where the Emperor is electrocuting Luke, and the music is rising, and you see Vader just watching this happen, and the gears turning in his helmet, realizing something's awakening there. I still get choked up. I still want just a perfect movie moment. I love that movie. It's great. When Luke lights up his saber on the sail barge, come on, you can't beat it.
And Chase was asking if you're at 100 subs, and yes, because Gary got his custom URLs right there. Go check it out. So go sub to Gary. If you're not subbed already to the TuracoCreativeCast, give us a sub, a like, a comment, whatever. Check out Anna if you're not subbed already. She's got her channel. So it's just Anna Raub. You look it up and you'll find it very quickly. And you can check out my stuff at Salazar Nation on YouTube, Instagram, and on the Facebook. So you can find me. Nefarious. And I also have an Etsy store, so if you want to check out my mini comics,
check it out. And Nefarious, even though we might disagree on The Last Jedi, 100% agree on Empire Strikes Back. Is the perfect Star Wars movie. The Yoda stuff on Dagobah is just chef's kiss, just amazing. Like the duel on Cloud City. I mean, it's a perfect movie. It's not only a perfect Star Wars movie, it might even be just sort of a perfect movie. It's really, really good. But I think as I respect your taste in Empire Strikes Back, I encourage you to give The Last Jedi another chance. Give it another watch. It might be better than you realize. You might you'll see.
Okay, and I think we're gonna end on this note. So good, you're allowed to be wrong sometimes.
You're right. You're right, Nefarious. Everyone is allowed to be wrong. Everyone is.
Yes,
it's true.
You can be wrong. We'll see you next time. Next week we're gonna have Adam Lore on the show. So same Turaco time, same Turaco channel. See.
Thank you all for joining us.
I love you, Nefarious. Even though you might be a little wrong about some of those Star Wars movies.
Oh boy.
All right. Now we're gonna discuss secret plans, and I'm gonna reveal who my favorite child is.
Finally now. So favorite.
All right. So